Amigos, ¿cómo están ustedes? Muy buenas noches. Esto es Monitor de Negocios, un servidor, Efren Flores, a nombre de todo el equipo que hace posible su programa, les da la más cordial de las bienvenidas como de costumbre. Ayer platicábamos con ustedes acerca de un entrevistado que tuvimos la oportunidad de tener hace un par de días en Mobile Forum, un evento de tecnología para las empresas de tecnologías de la información y comunicación de Telefónica. Y ahí tuvimos la oportunidad de platicar con Kevin Kelly. Él es cofundador de la revista Wired, por demás conocida a nivel mundial, también de temas relacionados con tecnologías de la información y comunicación. Esto es lo que también nos comentó.
I think it's very hard what I'm going to ask you, but in what times do you are forecasting that these changes are going to be having place?
I'm saying that, these disruptions that I was talking about in my keynote have all already started. So like I can pull out my phone and I can ask the phone a question.
Sure.
Okay. So that AI is already here. What I'm talking about is mostly just degrees, where it gets better and better and better, and there's no moment when it just suddenly appears. Self-driving cars, well, there's already 3 or 4 on the roads already. They work. When can I buy one? Well, there's degrees. BMW is making a self-parking car.
Yep.
So you come up to it and your place and you say, go park while I go in. Okay, so self-driving in a limited way, or during a traffic jam will take over. So these things come incrementally. So they're growing. They're here already. They'll just get more and more people. We don't tend to notice them. They're hidden by all the other changes in the world.
Yeah,
but they're here.
But it's not the phenomena that we had, for instance, when the Gutenberg printing became a reality and started during 600 years to influence us. It's not going to take 600 years.
Yes, right.
This new disruptive model to influence us.
It won't take 600 years, but it will take decades to play out, because it takes decades for the social institutions around them to accommodate that, like say some of the security or privacy issues. It'll take us that long for us to decide what we think about them. Okay, I mean, and so the technology goes ahead, and it takes a while for society
and human beings
to kind of, we have to learn how to use it. So
yeah, it's like could you tell our friends what you were explaining is that in the next couple of decades or years, perhaps a Mac store won't be selling iPads or laptops, but perhaps just modules.
Yeah, they're more and more of our wealth is in the intangibles, okay? And less of the cost of something is actually in the atoms that go into it. So in the cost of a manufactured car, every year the cost of the steel becomes less and less. And more of everything, whether it's a device, I mean, they just came out with figures yesterday that the cost of the new iPhones is $173. So all the rest of it,
with those,
the manufacturing costs,
the original ones,
or just in terms of what they're charging for you.
That's right.
All the other costs are in the intangible: the design, the marketing, the intelligence, the software, and that's true. What's true for software will be true for all businesses, whether you're in chemicals, concrete, or farming, agriculture. It doesn't matter. More and more of the value that you create is going to be in the intangibles, so that you will run your business almost like a software business, even if you're making physical things.
That's right. That's right. What to do in nations like Mexico, where there's a gap between very poor people and wealthy people, or very literate people and very unliterate people. is there a risk that technology and this technology disruptive models could create more problems, more differences between poor and wealthy people?
So there was a the vocabulary about the haves and the have-nots, and I think one of the most optimistic and hopeful things we've seen is the penetration of cell phones to the supposed have-nots. And I mean, this is worldwide and global. Some of the poorest street sweepers in India will pull out a cell phone. And so the way I think about it is the haves and the have-laters. And what we're seeing is that this rapid adoption of appropriate technology to anybody in the world, they are reachable, and they will buy it if it's the right thing. And what we have is that then the haves basically purchase technology before it's finished, while it's very expensive and doesn't work very well, and they sort of are funding with this purchase of this technology that doesn't work very well. They're funding, making it cheap for the have-laters. So there will still be a gap. There will always be a gap between the people who buy it first and those who get it last. But that gap is also changing, is shrinking too.
It'll be shrinking, not widening.
Right, it's not widening. It's going faster, and I think that we'll continue to see that. Not for all technologies, but for certain ones, we'll see that the gap between the haves and the have-laters continues to shrink. And I think that the issues that we should worry about are not that gap. I think the issue that we should worry about is what happens when 6 to 7 billion people all have the same thing. I think that's what happens when they're all on at the same time. I think that's if we want to worry about something, let's worry about that one.
And last but not least, how do you imagine innovation is going to be changing in the next couple of years? Innovation, as we foresee, will be also changed. So how we are going to be innovating when we start using our own technology to develop more technology and so on and so on and so on.
So there,
intelligent technology.
There's at least 3 things I can say right off about how innovation changes. One of the first ones is this idea that of capturing and harnessing and empowering users to innovate. So the really smart, I mean, this has been going on for a while, but the really smart way to do innovation is to have your customers do it for you. So you want to encourage them to modify what you make and to be co-creators in the next version, and to keep reiterating that versions where the people using it are actually co-creating it. So that ranges from making things hackable, to having them do the help support, to user groups, to 1,000 different ways in which to harness the users of the device to help innovate the next version. The second one is we've been learning more and more how to make how to make a process of innovation faster, better, which is the current term, which is agile, lean startup, and formalizing. In other words, taking the best practices and actually being able to disseminate to other people. Again, we know something about this by now, so now we want to teach it, and so everyone else doesn't have to reinvent the world. If you're going to do something innovative, here's a process that really works. Okay, so that's the second thing, and the internet can help that. And I would say if you're going to do something, we know how to do this better. And then the third way is, I think there's an ecosystem around innovation. You don't do it alone.
It's an ecosystem.
Ecosystem.
Okay.
It's a system. You don't do it alone. You don't want to do it alone. You shouldn't do it alone. It's a collaborative process that has many levels of support, from the funding to prototyping to marketing. I mean, it's a very big system, and you have a culture around it, and that culture has to be an innovative culture, which means it has to embrace failure. which is the central thing. So you want to encourage failure, you want to reward failure, you want to fail forward. So part of that is culturing a culture that will be innovative, and it's not just an individual; it's a larger thing. And so those are three things that I think will shift how innovation is done. Is that it's seen as not a lone inventor. You want a very large system that rewards that. Secondly, it's something we know about, so we can study. And thirdly, you want to harness the users in helping you innovate.
Kevin Kelly, cofundador de la revista Wired. Thanks.
You're
Thank
very
you
welcome.
much
Thanks for having
this,
me.
Chat with
Great.
Our auditory.
Great.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Take care.
Yep.
Qué interesante, qué bárbaro, qué interesante este hombre, de veras, platicar con él, Kevin Kelly, la cantidad, ¿verdad? Yamile Riz, ¿cómo estás? Buenas noches, ¿cómo te va?
Hola, muy buenas noches, Efren.
La cantidad de conocimientos y de experiencias, expresiones que tienes sobre lo que viene en el futuro con la tecnología, pero lo que envuelve también al mundo de los negocios y al mundo, a la problemática social que se nos viene encima precisamente por el cambio tecnológico. Y lo que conlleva ese cambio tecnológico, ¿no?
Claro, muy interesante lo que mencionaba Kelly acerca de lo intangible. Usó él esa palabra.
Es impresionante eso, ¿no?
Claro, ejemplos que daba ayer acerca de que ya preferimos bajar por internet libros o música en vez de ir a comprar el propio disco y toda la producción y fabricación que hay detrás, ¿no?
Eso que acabas de decir es oro puro. Fíjate cómo ya el teléfono celular antiguamente valía por el software y el hardware mismo del teléfono. Hoy el teléfono celular inteligente vale muy poco.
Exacto.
Pero ¿qué tal las aplicaciones? Ahí te vuelves loco, eso es lo que vale. Que el teléfono sea funcionar con las aplicaciones de la empresa tal, de la empresa tal, de la empresa tal. Eso es lo más valioso de un producto ahora, los intangibles.
Exacto. Y justo también de lo que comentaba de las grandes empresas telefónicas, ¿no? Hace un par de días mencionábamos lo que estaban haciendo, por ejemplo, en nuestro país, en Villa de Talea, en Oaxaca, que ninguna empresa de las que todos conocemos quiso aventurarse e invertir en una comunidad de miles de habitantes, y ellos tuvieron la iniciativa de crear su propia compañía telefónica, ¿no? Muy interesante.
Ya tendremos oportunidad de platicar al respecto. Gracias por todo, amigos. Muy buenas noches, hasta el día de mañana.